want to start off by telling you about my first ever breakup. So let's take it back to a young 14-year-old Iman. I dated my first ever girlfriend from the age of 14 to 16. Beautiful relationship. It was my safe space. Now, a lot of you guys that know my story know that my house was a place that I was scared of, that I dreaded, that I didn't ever want to bring people to. I mean, my first ever girlfriend, I was so embarrassed in my house, not because it didn't have warm water, because it had no heating. I was embarrassed because in my bedroom, the wall was literally starting to cave in. There was so much water damage that I could literally start to see the inside of the roof. And at night, I could hear all the rats running around. So not only was it an amazing relationship, her family and her family home, it was a safe space for me. And I know that some of you guys, when you're going through your first breakup, it's not only just the person, it may be the whole ecosystem around it. Maybe you guys are family friends. Maybe you guys have known each other for 10 years. Maybe there might be some other complications involved in it. You know, and that can definitely make things a little bit more difficult. But at the end of the day, you still need to fight through it. So my first ever relationship, her family was moving back to the United States of America. So 5 months before we broke up, we basically knew what the expiry date was. And I remember I scrounged together all the money that I could to buy the cheapest economy ticket all the way to New York from London. And I went and I visited her for the last time. And I remember it was like this, scene out of a movie. We're at our last final sort of dinner with her parents and we're seeing the clock come down. And as it gets to 60 minutes before I need to leave to the airport, her and I just can't even speak anymore. Like our throats are so swollen. We've got tears in our eyes because we know that it is coming to an end. And I'll never forget it. We said goodbye on this New York hot summer day. I get into an Uber and me as a man, well, I guess that's the thing. I wasn't a man back then. I was still a boy, and we'll touch on that a little later down the line. Me in the back of this Uber, I'm like crying, and the Uber driver was so sweet, just like your typical New Yorker. He's like, bro, do you need a box of tissues, man? Like, are you good? And I explained the situation, and he spent the next 30 minutes basically saying, look, bro, you're young, you'll get through it. And at the time, it felt like I wasn't gonna get through it. It felt like my world was just collapsing. That was for me back then, like the 1 ounce of safety I ever felt. It was like her family, her home. Like for me personally, it was the only sense of normality in my life. At that stage, it was probably one of the most painful experiences in my entire life. And I am saying that as a person who's gone through the most crazy life where the devil seemed to follow me for the first 2 decades of my existence. I have been to hell and back. And yet a little breakup seemed to be like the most painful and traumatic thing. I will always remember that. And I always keep that as a reminder of just how much when a man truly loves a woman, just how much it tears him apart when it finally ends. And obviously it feels like there's reminders everywhere. I remember one time I was walking through the park and I'm walking and I get to this exact spot where me and my ex-girlfriend used to lay in the grass and we used to read Marcus Aurelius Meditations together, and she would read a passage and I would read a passage, and it was all it was pretty much like the dream romance. And I see the spot where we would sit 6 months prior and I just get tears flowing down my face. It felt like my first ever relationship was just a mirage. It was like a dream. I didn't even live it. And in that moment, I lost a part of myself that I never got back. And that part of myself was the boy, which leads me into the first way to get over a breakup. And that is to welcome yourself to the club.